video, Voidroll aka Megabuts. In today's video, we're looking at Cinderace EX paired with Dragapult EX. Now, Cinderace EX and Dragapult EX aren't really too different, trying to hit the active spot for some decent damage, while also trying to just spread some nice damage to their opponent's bench Pokemon. Now, my buddy Blake, who actually provided the deck list for me to use in today's video, decided that they pair pretty well together. I think they pair perfectly together. They are very much in sync. Let's look at that deck list. Already here at that deck list, first starting us off with one of the two stars of this show, being Dragapult EX. Dragapult EX has that Terra ability, being able to prevent damage done to this Pokemon if it's on our bench. Its first attack, Jet Headbutt, we're not really going to use too often, but just for one energy does 70 damage. Phantom Dive is the attack we want to be using with our Dragapult EX. For a fire and a psychic energy, Phantom Dive does 200 damage, and then you can put 6 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like. Dragapult has really just shown that it has what it takes to really compete in this meta, getting paired with so many different decks, but that's more for a future video. We'll talk about that. Second card I want to talk about is going to be the other star of the show, Cinderace EX, also having that Terra type ability. First attack for 1 fire and double colorless energy. Flare Strike for 280 damage. During the next turn, this Pokemon can't use Flare Strike. And then its second attack, Garnet Volley. Garnet Volley is going to do 180 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon. So 180 damage to one of our opponent's Pokemon can be any Pokemon, bench or active, for a fire, fighting, and a dark energy, which is pretty nice. We're able to kind of snipe Squawkabillies and Mew EXs right off our opponent's bench without them even knowing. Now, we're also playing the important draw engine that we're going to need, which is the Drakloaks in here. With that ability, Recon Directive. Once during your journey, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into the hand, and the other one to the bottom of your deck. That's going to work as kind of our draw engine for the deck. We're also playing Bloodmoon Ursaluna for a backup late game attacker, Cleffa for that grasping draw early game, Budew for the itchy pollen early on as well, Munkidori for the Adrenabrain, and then Fezandipiti because the card's broken and Flip the Script is insane. Now, the really main supporter I want to talk about is going to be Crispin. Crispin saying search deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them, and then put one of them into your hand, attach the one to one of your Pokemon. Crispin's really going to help us power up our Dragapult EXs and our Cinderace EX as well, really allowing us to kind of get into this game quickly and start taking some prizes as fast as possible. 2 Aono, 1 Jioc, 1 Boss, 1 Kieran, 1 Research, and 1 Turo for our supporters. And then the items, we got 4 Buddy Buddy Poffin, 3 Ultra Ball, 2 Nice Stretcher, 2 Nest Ball, 2 Earthen Vessel, 2 Rare Candy, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Terra Orb, 1 Switch. Tools, we got Defiance Band and Rescue Board both at 1 copies. Artisan for our only stadium at 1 copy, and then the energies being 3 fire, 2 dark, 2 fighting, and 2 psychic. And then the last energy, which is also our ace spec of choice, is going to be that Neo Upper Energy. Now, Neo Upper Energy isn't really played too often in Dragapult. However, it works really great with this Cinderace EX and Dragapult EX deck because it allows us to be able to not only attach it to our Dragapult EX to attack for the kind of 2 energy that we require, but also being able to attach it to our Cinderace EX and then only having 1 of the 3 energy requirements that we need for that Garnet Volley attack. Narrow Up Energy saying as long as this card is attached, it provides a colorless energy. If this card is attached to a stage 2 Pokemon, this card provides every type of energy, but only provides 2 energy at a time. So, Neo Up Energy being the ace pick of choice for those reasons. You could also play Sparkling Crystal or Unfair Stamp if you really wanted to, but I feel Neo Up Energy is exactly the one you want to be using. Let's jump into that gameplay. Already here at that Cinderace Dragapult gameplay here at the coin flip. It is going to be heads, so we are going to be going first. Now, going first or second with this deck is kind of interesting. Going second allows us to be able to have some cool Talent Machine Evolution plays, but going first also pretty much makes it so we can evolve right after that on our next turn. So, not too bad either way. I would probably prefer to go second so I can either try to Talent Machine Evolution or maybe Item Lock our opponent or Grasping Draw with that Cleffa or something, but start off with the Munkidori here. Buddy Buddy Poffin. Gonna grab that Dreepy and that Scorbunny here. Nest Ball here. Gonna grab ourselves a Cleffa. Nest Ball coming down again. Gonna get us a second Dreepy here. Gonna be able to attach an energy. We're gonna attach that dark energy, it's looking like, to our Munkidori. But I actually would rather just attach the fire energy to our Dreepy here. Because if I need to be able to kind of draw into anything, I can just attach next turn and then retreat of the Munkidori into the Cleffa to get a nice, you know, fresh up to 7 card hand. But other than that, pretty set up so far here. Unfortunately, our hand is kind of full of energies, which is not great, however. But our opponent here, going to start off with Lily's Cleffa EX here. Going to just right off the rip play an Iono here. Going to get us nice fresh 6 cards here. Going to get a Drakloak, Scorbunny, Rare Candy, Ultra Ball, Counter Catcher, and a Budew Puffin. If we can find ourselves into Dragapult, or maybe even just finding ourselves, actually not the Dragapult, finding ourselves into the Psychic Energy, we could just Ultra Ball, Rare Candy, and a Dragapult, and we're off to the races. Or try to find maybe even Crispin could be helpful too. Our opponent here looking like playing some sort of Miraidon deck, probably Jolik Box here. Gonna get the Miraidon down, gonna get Iron Hands and that Pikachu EX into play. Nestball for the Latias. Do they have access to that Joltik, saying, I'm just going to retreat into my Pikachu. I don't have Joltik here. Now, I feel like it would have been pretty good for them to just get the Joltik and then just kind of Jolting Charge onto the Iron Hands or maybe the Miraidon or something. Or even Pikachu EX could have also been really nice. But we're going to evolve our Dreepy into Drakloak and then Recon Directive here. Going to get that Neo Upper Energy off of that top 2 cards here. Ultra Ball looking here. Gonna probably put ourselves in a situation where we can try to find maybe a Cinderace EX, or we can Rare Candy to it. But I'm actually gonna grab a Drakloak here, just kind of go for the little bit of the longer game here, seeing my opponent, acknowledging that they don't really have a lot going on. So I kind of take the more slow route and just kind of get things set up, get my draw engine rolling. I can play the switch, attach the Fighting Energy, and then Grasping Draw for 4 cards, getting a nice just full hand full of a lot of options here. We're going to have that Dragapult in hand. We're going to have Rare Candy, Terra Orb. So next turn I can go Terra Orb, find Cinderace EX, Rare Candy into it, and then boss pull up something, maybe even try to take a knockout on that Lily's Cleffa EX on the bench or get some damage on it at the very least. Something that's really kind of a downside for this deck is that there's no really room for Dusknoir to be able to fit in the deck. If so, I feel like we'd have a really cool option to be able to just like Curse Blast, take knockouts on a lot of bigger HP Pokemon on the bench, but there's just not really room for it. So the idea is we just Garnet Volley, 180, kind of spread damage everywhere, plus Dragapult spreading damage anywhere. We can kind of just threaten knockout on anywhere on the board, which is pretty nice. So, Terra Orb, we're going to get that Cinderace here. Defiance Band off of the Recon Directive. Another Recon Directive, going to get us off the Ultra Ball here. Going to Rare Candy into our Cinderace EX. Going to be able to attach that Neo Upper Energy. Going to be able to retreat here out of that Cleffa. Going to be able to put ourselves in a situation where we're going to be able to Garnet Volley here, taking a knockout on that Mew EX. They did bench that Mew EX, so for us, we're in a pretty interesting situation where we can take a nice, fresh, good 2 prize cards, punishing them for putting down that Mew EX. We were thinking about evolving our Drakloak into Dragapult, but decided against it as we would rather just wait and kind of still have our draw engine established. We're in a very demanding lead right now, I feel like. Sure, our opponent does have that Pikachu set up, but Cinderace having 320 HP and that Dragapult having 320, it forces our opponent to have a Lucha play to be able to Flying Entry, put 2 damage counters somewhere, and then kind of just go from there. But they're going to get the Fezandipiti EX plus the research here. Going to be able to get 7 cards plus flip the script, getting another 3 cards, putting about 10 cards in hand. We're still at that 4-6 split. Our opponent here going to attach that Grass Energy to the Pikachu EX. Going to have Counter Catcher here as well, pulling up the Munkidori. Now, I feel like Topaz bolting this Munkidori feels really, really bad. So actually our opponent is going to pass turn here, just saying, I hope you don't have it. I don't want to Topaz bolt your Munkidori because that just feels really bad. So we're going to Earthen Vessel, pitch the Drakloak here. Going to get 2 energies, get that Psychic and that Dark Energy here. Attach the Psychic, or sorry, attach the Dark to the Munkidori. Going to be able to retreat out of that into our Cinderace EX. And then going to be able to Recon Directive here, grabbing a Churro Scenario. And then going to be able to Recon Directive again. Going to be able to grab ourselves a Crispin here. Going to be able to play that Crispin potentially, but I'm actually going to boss his orders here, pull up the Fezandipiti EX, and then Flare Strike for 280, getting rid of that Flip the Script, and taking an additional 2 prize cards, getting our Fezandipiti and Bloodmoon Ursaluna off of our prize cards. But those cards, I don't feel like we're going to need too much in this match. We might need the Fezandipiti maybe, but we have a very demandingly got a 2-6 split here. Our opponent has not taken a single prize card, but could here pretty soon. They could probably just do something where they pull up a Drakloak, try to attack with this Cleffa EX. Now, the reason I also didn't want to evolve my Drakloak into Dragapult, not only for the Recon Directive to keep my draw engine, but on top of that, I really wanted to make it so my opponent can't just have a free 2 prize cards on the Dragapult with their Lewis Clefairy EX. So, Topaz Bull here going to come from our opponent, going to be able to put 300 damage counters on our Cinderace EX doing 300 damage here. But we're in a situation where I might be able to just win the game if I can kind of find all the right pieces that I might need. We're just going to have to kind of see what happens here. Ultra Ball here, going to pitch our Counter Catcher and our Bloodmoon Ursaluna, as those cards just feel like they're too late in the game. It doesn't really matter right now for us. Seeing if we have maybe Boss's Orders or something. No Boss, but we're going to be able to attach that Psychic Energy to the Drakloak, evolve into Dragapult here, going to be able to Recon Directive one more time. Going to find ourselves that Artisan here. Don't really want to play the Artisan. I don't want to kind of give them more things to thin their deck with. So going to return out that Cinderace EX into our Dragapult here. Going to evolve the Drakloak into Dragapult as well. Crispin just going to try to get another Dragapult set up here. Going to attach that that Psychic Energy, sorry, to our Dragapult EX. Have the Fire Energy in hand for next turn. And we're going to have Defiance Band thrown on that Dragapult on the bench. Throw down the Artisan. I guess we're just trying to thin our hand at this point because if they Iono us, I don't want more things in play. So we're just going to try to set up some nice damage counters here on the bench. 2 to the Miraidon, 10 to the Latias, and then 30 to the Iron Hand, saying, hey, no matter what you put up, I can KO with Dragapult. Or I can KO with my Cinderace EX. So our opponent realizes that and concedes there to us, really being able to showcase not only the pure just speed that this Cinderace Dragapult deck can have, but also just really being able to punish anything on our opponent's side of the board. Not only the active, but also the bench Pokemon as well. Starting that game off with KOing the Mew EX for 2 prize cards, I feel like really was the just kind of big pushing point for us in this game, and it was really hard for our opponent to establish anything after that. Now let's jump into that outro. All we're going to do for today's video. If you guys enjoy the content I've been making stuff on the channel, don't forget to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. And of course, I'll make sure to put the deck list that I played in today's video in the description below, ready for copy paste into TCG Live. And I want to give a huge shout out to Blake as well, again, for providing the deck list for me to use in today's video. Also, before we head off, I want to give a huge shout out and a special thanks to all of my awesome channel members you see here. They continue to support the channel even further by joining the Trainer Club here on the Megablitz YouTube channel. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank all of you as well, because we're getting real close to 1K subs. So if you think you're subscribed, just do me a favor, scroll down and check. We're really close to that 1K. And that's the goal for the channel so far, is when that 1K subs. So I'll see you on the next one. Peace!